Hi, this is Don Graves. Today I'm talking with Jamie Hopkins, professor here at the American College, and we're going to talk about the prudent use of housing wealth and retirement income planning. Jamie, welcome.
Thanks for having me here, Don. Thanks for being with me. This is going to be an exciting conversation today.
Jamie, you're a professor here at the American College, and for many years reverse mortgages had gotten really a black eye and not a good reputation, but you've changed your position in a lot of ways. What happened?
Yeah, so Don, I was like a lot of other people in the financial service industry now who kind of have a negative view of reverse mortgages. And my position's really changed over time. At first, I had a lot of misconceptions. I didn't understand them well, and I didn't understand how they fit into a retirement income plan. But the more I started looking at them, the more I started understanding that there's good ways to use these. And not just good ways, some of these are going to be the best ways to help people. You know, we are going to take one of the biggest assets that Americans have, right? And we need to take that asset, your home equity, and turn it into income. Protect your wealth, grow your wealth. And the reverse mortgage is one of the ways to do that. And there have been some rule changes too, which has kind of maybe even pushed this more into our industry. The way that reverse mortgage companies and how they're looking at these are going to have to change. And the industry in financial services is going to have to change too.
Just last week, or even this week, there was an article in Forbes magazine, and you write for Forbes. It was the second such article, probably within 3 or 4 months, highlighting positively the reverse mortgage. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I was actually at a NAFA conference, and I was doing a presentation on reverse mortgages. And I was surprised, and I don't know why I'm surprised again, but I was surprised that people really didn't understand some of what I think are kind of the main reasons why we need to look at reverse mortgages. You might not understand all the details, but you get some of the main points, and I wasn't seeing that. So what I said is, I've got to put this out in front. I care about this topic. I write on retirement income. So I really drafted what to me was, as somebody called it, a manifesto earlier today on it, but I wanted to get across what are the main strategies. How can we take your home equity and turn it into income in retirement and actually improve your situation? That's really what my focus was on.
The article you wrote, the most recent article, highlighted 4 particular strategies.
Yeah.
I'd like to just take each of those one at a time.
Okay.
And before we do that, for those who may not understand or know, the reverse mortgage has been around since 1961. It's been part of the federal government since 1988. It's simply a way for retired homeowners to leverage the value of their home, turn it into tax-free money, and use it for strategic, comprehensive financial planning purposes. Most people don't know it in that regard. They know it from maybe the television or the postcard sense, but they don't know it from a strategic planning perspective. This is why the work that you're doing, Jamie, is very, very helpful. So let's take the one strategy. I don't remember all 4 of them, but just choose the first one.
So the first strategy I started talking about there was taking that reverse mortgage as what I would say is a bridge up early in retirement to defer Social Security.
Okay.
And so one of the strategies is, let's see, can we defer Social Security? What do we get when we defer Social Security? We get a lot higher benefits, right? And so you get somewhere between 7 to 8% per year from 62 to 70, right? Guaranteed increases in your benefits when you defer each year. Now, a real simple concept with this is, if I can get a 7 to 8% guaranteed return on something, and I can borrow money at 4%, right? Well, I'd do that all day long, Don. I wouldn't do anything else. I wouldn't have to work again. If I could get loans and go get guaranteed 8% return and borrow at 4%, I would never have to work again. And that's what you can do with the reverse mortgage here.
So you're bridging the gap from age 62 to 66 or 67 for full retirement age, or even up to?
Yeah, even up to age 70. Now, you're going to have to look at the individual situation, say how much money do we need, how long do we expect to live, some of those things. Now, anyone with a long life expectancy, this is going to work out the best for them. Because one, we get a long run with the reverse mortgage. We don't have to pay it back. We can keep living in that house till we're 95.
Right.
We also are going to get Social Security benefits out to 95. So it's even better. The longer, the more longevity concern we have, the better this strategy works for us.
And if you're husband and wife as a couple, there was a couple that came to me the other day, and they were 62, and they had both elected to take Social Security, but they didn't necessarily need to,
Yeah.
both of them. And I explained to them, had you ever heard of this strategy? And the man almost hit himself upside the head, and he says, you mean to tell me I could have grown this by 8% and used this other method? He says, why didn't my advisor tell me about this? What do you say to an advisor? Because that's happening all the time.
Right, advisors need the education, right? And that's what we do here at the college. In the RICP program, we talk about effective uses of Social Security, effective uses of home equity and reverse mortgages. This is comprehensive planning now, right? That's the big piece of this, is we can be really good in Social Security and we can be great in insurance. But if we're missing all of your home equity and I don't discuss it, guess what? That's probably their largest asset.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And so if we're missing their largest financial asset, we're not doing our job well, right?
It's almost financial malpractice. I don't mean to be
Yeah.
so stunning, but it is.
Yeah, and it's similar to 5 years ago. You could walk into a place and hear somebody say, we don't talk about long-term care planning because we don't do long-term care insurance. That's not happening anymore because exactly that. You'll get sued now if you say I do comprehensive planning and somebody asks you a long-term care question. So, you know, we don't do that because we don't believe in long-term care insurance.
Right.
You know, I'm an attorney. I've heard that from other attorneys. They'll sue you the next day.
Sure.
That's a concern. So the industry is going to have to move. There's compliance issues in the way. So when I say that it's a failure here, I'm not saying at an individual level every time. As a financial planner, these tools aren't always available to you yet. Your software might not build in reverse mortgages. You didn't have education on it. Your company doesn't do it. I understand that. The industry is going to have to change, though, and it is changing. You know, we're seeing software companies, as of this year, adding reverse mortgages into the financial planning software.
Sure, yes. The second strategy you talk about in the Forbes article was what?
So another strategy I talked about in there was kind of taking income from your house to lower down what we'd say is your taxable income. So we can do some planning there, maybe a Roth conversion, and maybe do that over a couple years.
Give me an example of how that would work or how that could look.
Yeah, and so how that would look is, let's say I've got $200,000 in an IRA. I've been putting that money in there. I've been taking tax deductions for it. When I take a withdrawal from that in the future, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is I'm going to pay taxes on the money that comes out. Now, once I hit 70 and a half, I'm going to be forced to take money out too. So the government's going to come say, you know what, Jamie, can't keep deferring these taxes. It's time to pay up. Now, I might decide I can actually do this earlier. Why would I might want to pay taxes earlier? It's because of a Roth conversion. I pay taxes today and I put into a Roth IRA. Well, Roth IRAs don't have required minimum distributions after 70 and a half. So I can use the money when I want to. And for some people, that's a good enough reason, that you're not being told when you have to spend the money. Now, the reason why reverse mortgage here helps is because I could get my income for the first couple years of retirement, not be treated as taxable income, because as we're taking our loan, it's not taxable income, which means I can keep my tax rate down and convert a little bit of that IRA each year over to a Roth. And so that can really help me out. Sometimes it's just mentally, and there are tax benefits to that. Take us a little while to get into all those, but you know, there are tax benefits there available too.
Very strategic.
Very strategic.
You mentioned a third thing.
Yeah. So another one that's great is actually, you know, something that you brought me on to originally, which is I move into retirement. Let's say either I want to downsize or I've got a little bit of some, you know, kind of mortgage debt outstanding, and I've got an outflow of cash happening, right? Well, how can I kind of reduce some expenses? Well, one of them, I can pay off essentially that outstanding mortgage, right, by really converting it over to a reverse mortgage.
Yes.
So now what I've done, right, is I've taken away that outflow of cash, and instead, right, now I can spend that money on other things.
Sure.
So my Social Security benefit comes in. I don't have to send half of it out for my mortgage company. I don't have to worry about that. And for a lot of people, I'm going to be limited on income generation. There's only so many things I can do. So I'm going to have to focus somewhat on expenses. As we see more and more people moving into retirement now with mortgages outstanding, that's going to become a more widespread option, right? There's a lot of people that's available to.
I think that's going to be huge. A recent study I saw earlier this year said that 87% of boomers going into retirement will own a home, but 68% will have a mortgage payment. And so I would say to an advisor, if you know that almost 2/3 of the boomers going into retirement will have a mortgage payment, do you know a way to mitigate that and what strategies can be used? And that's something you pick up in that third point in the article. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So Jamie, tell me about the fourth one.
Yeah, so the fourth one is actually some language that even people in, kind of reverse mortgage world in financial services aren't always familiar with, and that's sequence of returns risk. And reverse mortgages can do wonders for helping us mitigate this really big risk in retirement income planning. And why I say a lot of people don't know about it is when you're saving money, when you're saving for retirement, you don't care about sequence of returns. You care about average returns and returns over your savings period. Once we get to retirement, all of a sudden we care what happens in the first couple years of retirement. Does the market drop 30% year one? Well, when that happens and I've got to go to my assets and sell a bunch of them to meet my income needs that first year, you know what I've just done to my portfolio longevity? I've wiped it out.
Devastated.
It's devastated, right? It's gone. It's never going to last my lifetime anymore. That's the big concern for people. That market drops and I gotta spend money. I gotta pay my needs each year, and so I gotta sell things. Now, what reverse mortgages can do is I set up that line of credit, that HECM line of credit, right? I get that set up. I pay a little bit of money up front. Now it's sitting there. It's growing. And when the market drops 40%, do I want to pull money out of my stocks when it's down 40%?
No, you don't want to lock in the losses.
I don't, right? Because that's permanent, right? I'm never really going to make that up again. But what I can do instead is go to my reverse mortgage. And I can pull money out of there to meet those income needs and leave my stocks alone so that over the next 2 years, they go back up, right? Now, again, sometimes that's hard. It's not always easy to say which years the stocks are down and which years are up. 2008, we know. Right? The bad years when it's down 30, 40%, we know the market is down. It's not a surprise.
Right.
We expect it to go back up. Now, you might not be able to use this strategy each and every year, but those really bad years, right? You retired in 2007 and 2008 happened. I don't want to lock in those losses. I want to take money from somewhere else.
Sure.
And that somewhere else can be your reverse mortgage, and you can get that income and protect the longevity of your portfolio. And we see that that has tremendous value for making that income from that portfolio last a lifetime.
Jamie, thank you so much for unpacking the Forbes article, kind of your journey into that, and it's a tremendous transition. One of the things that you and I are doing is that we've partnered together to create a HECM Institute, a training and a certification for financial advisors to learn more about, and kind of a standalone. Why did you think that was important?
Yeah, I think this is really important because advisors need more education here, right? We need to move the needle. We need to play where the puck's going to be in the future. We need to be there and take home equity and reverse mortgages and get advisors using this, companies using this inside of their comprehensive planning. And so that's why we're so excited here at the college, to endorse this program and move forward with it, because we need this continued education here.
Great. Jamie, thanks so much for being here. This has been Don Graves talking to Jamie Hopkins. We'll see you next time.